What's going on, everyone? So, a report came out from Jake Fisher of Yahoo Sports that this draft is touted to be one of the weakest in years, which means LA again may not be able to find someone who can come in and contribute right away at 17. Because of that, everything is on the table for the Lakers, whether that be trading back or even potentially trading up, per Jake Fisher. He says, I've heard from plenty of people that they are considering at number 17. There's talk of the Lakers wanting to move up a little bit. Now, I still subscribe to the idea that the Lakers are going to trade number 17. The Lakers, period, even if they wanted to move up, why aren't you working guys out? Like, the Lakers have worked out like a handful of guys. I don't even think it's been that many. I think it's been like 4 guys at that could potentially be the 17th pick. They've worked out another like 8 or whatever that all would be 55 to undrafted. So they've worked out a ton of people, but like 90% of them have all been for their second round pick, not number 17. So if you were planning on moving up or trading the pick to get other picks, like, you would imagine that you would at least do your due diligence. You'd imagine that you're at least gonna, kind of try to work your magic to draft the right piece. And they really haven't done that. And we're like 10 days away from the draft, right? Or we're 11 days away from the draft, at least at the time of recording this video, right? So again, like, we're right around the corner. Like, let's go. And I understand that the Lakers have a lot on their plate right now. Like, they got to figure out the head coach, but like, you don't need your coach to go draft, right? I mean, it'd be nice to have him, but you don't really need him, right? You're just going to take whoever you think is the best player available regardless, right? Like, so at some point it's like, well, you think you'd start working out guys and figuring things out. So I just lean heavily towards the Lakers are going to end up trading 17. Now, could they draft somebody and like trade them later on down the road? Sure. Also, it's why I keep telling everybody, like, don't fall in love with anyone at 17. I try to express that to everybody, because I see a lot of people that are like, oh, we have to get this guy because, he's the guy that's going to be the next Michael Jordan, right? Like, whatever, right? Like, and that's cool. And those players may be great, but don't get your hopes up, because they're probably not going to be Lakers for very long. The Lakers are probably trading that pick. And even if they draft somebody, they could draft that person for another team, right? Depending on what they want to trade and how they want to trade it, right? Like, they may end up, the team might say, hey, pick this guy up. We're trying to figure something out, and then whatever, right? Or the Lakers could draft a guy just to draft a guy that they like and still end up trading him. So don't get your hopes up in that regard. As far as this news about potentially moving up, it also says that they may end up moving back. This just sounds to me like Rob Pelinka doing his due diligence. It's what this sounds like, right? Like Fish said, nothing is off the table, right? He is exploring moving back, moving up, right? Like, can you turn the 17th pick into the 20th and 25th pick or something, right? I don't know. Off the top of my head, I don't know which team has like 2 multiple firsts late in the draft, or, maybe 2 seconds, right? Maybe moving back to 17 for, a future first and a second or something, or 2 seconds in this draft. And then they draft Bronny, and now they have, 2 seconds to unload in this year's draft, whatever, right? Like, I'm sure Rob Pelinka is exploring and looking at every potential and possible option, as he should. Right? Like, you should leave no stone unturned, right? Because, like, what happens if you do get a good deal? What happens if somebody, is like, oh yeah, we'll give you the 8th pick for, the 17th and whatever, 2 seconds. And it's like, well, that's a steal, right? Like, you never know what another team is doing or what another team is thinking. You also have teams that are out there like the Thunder, right? Like, teams like Thunder, they need to like unload picks, right? They need to get rid of stuff. So, maybe you can turn a pick into something where it's like, oh, we're getting 2 picks that now you can use to go and make trades later on, right? Like, you want to have flexibility if you're Rob Pelinka. You want to, again, speak to various possible outcomes. But if the Lakers were to move up, I don't see, they're not moving up more likely than not, because there's two things that kind of stand out to me, right? One is, unless you're moving up into like the top 5, there's not really anybody in this draft that you're like, that guy the Lakers have to get. Right? After the top 5, it's kind of you're kind of taking a gamble and hoping that somebody works out, right? Like, so I don't know. And like, what would that take? That probably would take a lot, right? Like, it would probably be a significant, like, you're better off trading for win now pieces. So you're probably moving, if you do move up, you're going from probably the 17th pick to maybe like the 15th or maybe the 13th, right? The one guy that like really stands out to me that the Lakers actually worked out is Ron Holland, right? I think that the Lakers, assuming that they really do want to move up, because again, if they want to move up, they want to move up for a reason. They want to move up for a particular player. So I did a whole video and breakdown of Ron Holland. I'll link that video down in the description for you if you want to like go see that. I did it on As It Stands Lakers. So again, go check that video out if you want details on Ron Holland. But just to kind of briefly like bring you up to speed for those that don't know, he's 18. He's one of the youngest guys in this draft. You know, he's 6'8". He's got a good wingspan, good versatility. He can basically do everything. He's not some like elite shooter, but he can shoot 3-ball pretty well. Like, he's not, again, he's your typical kind of rookie coming in shooting the 3-ball, right? He's not like some 40% 3-point shooter. He's basically your average 3-point shooter, but he has the capability, good free throw shooter, which is good because that usually translates into just a guy being a quality shooter. But he is everything that you could want from a just forward wing type player. He's versatile. He could play essentially 2 through 4 if you wanted him to. He's a hyper athlete, excellent defensively. I mean, already excellent defensively. Dude was an absolute baller and a guy that I would be more than happy to bring in. I would love to bring in Ron Holland, and he worked out for the Lakers. So my guess is that they worked him out and they liked him a lot. And they like him enough to go trade for him, is probably my thoughts, right? So this is a guy that I do believe could really make an impact. I don't know, like, I think he can make an impact out the gate, but I don't think he's, you know, like a 20-10 guy, right? You know, like out the gate. I think he's a guy that come off the bench and be a significant piece for you. But I don't think I don't think out the gate he's a guy that like you're starting day one and really trying to contend for a championship. Now, again, you never really know, right? Maybe he does ball out. Maybe he is great, right? But he's a guy that is, again, incredibly young, arguably could be one of the best players in this draft. He is, in all honesty, like, he's a guy that you could look back in 3 years and go, oh man, Ronald Holland was the best player in that draft. Like, genuinely. It's always possible that he's not, right? Like, it's always a gamble, but he just has all the tools to be a potential star in this league. I'm not saying superstar, I'm not saying top 5 player, I'm not saying that. I mean, I think he's a guy that you could look back and go, oh wow, he's an all-star, right? He's actually a very good, talented player. And again, he's one of the youngest players in this draft. So if, based on the information we have, I look at that and go, okay, Ron Holland is a guy that the Lakers worked out and they really liked, and supposedly he had a good workout, and the Lakers may want to end up drafting him, right? Now, the hope is he falls to 17, but, I mean, this is a guy that was basically a top 5 pick locked in. And I think he was like number 2 or something like that in his draft class. Originally, he was like I know he was 5-star recruit, but I think he was like number 2 overall or something like that. Or maybe I know he was top 5. I know he's like one of the top guys in his draft class. But more likely than not, he's probably not going to fall that deep. Like, he's projected to go top 8 in this draft. So, you know, I think it'd be a stretch. I think the Lakers would really have to move into the top 8, and I just don't think they'd be able to do that. But again, you have LeBron. You don't have LeBron, but I would be surprised if LeBron ends up leaving. That's me personally. But even if you do lose LeBron, you still have Anthony Davis, and you can't rebuild. The Pelicans get next year's pick. So it's not like you can just go, oh, okay, let's trade Anthony Davis and tank and try to get the number 1 pick in the draft. Like, no, you can't. Right? The Lakers don't have the assets to do that. So to me, it's like you gotta try to get pieces to win now. I mean, I just don't know who you're gonna get that's that much better than who you could potentially get at 17. Because again, I don't think that they're going to be able to move into the top 10. If they were able to get the 7th pick in the draft, then sure, yeah, I'd do that, right? But I just realistically think that if the Lakers move up, they're probably going from like 17 to like 14 or 17 to like 13. And I just, the difference in who you could potentially get is not that great, or doesn't appear to be that great. Again, you never really know until it's all done, until it's all said and done, and all the players are a couple years into the league, and then you're like, oh wow, that guy at 15 was the best player in the draft. Like, wow, like that guy from Serbia that was drafted in the 2nd round. Wow, like that guy turned out to be the best player. Like, it's just, you never really know until like the dust settles. But to me, it's like, trade the pick, do what you're going to do, win now. That's the position we're in, win now. So do what you got to do, win now. It's kind of my thoughts. But again, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like the idea of trading up? Like the idea of trading back? Do you think no, trade the pick? Do you think that they are going to trade the pick? Do you think that this is just, like I said earlier, just Rob Pelinka doing his due diligence? Again, this report wasn't necessarily like a direct, like, oh, the Lakers are wanting to trade. It's like the Lakers are exploring basically all possibilities, basically what that report said. And again, as you should. But how you feel, whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So if you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.